Joining me right now with the Tea Party of Fort Lauderdale is Danita.
Yes.
And Jack.
Jack.
All right, so we've got Danita and Jack, and they the Tea Party of Fort Lauderdale. They watched the debate last night. I'm sure you guys have a favorite. A favorite during the debate?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I have a favorite, but we also, we've done 6 different straw polls this year, and our 6th one was last night.
Okay, and now where exactly was this held?
At Black Pearl, Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale.
Near Bayview.
Correct, right there, a sports bar. They closed it down just for us, so it was a full house in there, standing room only.
Fantastic. And so, and how long have you been active with the Tea Party here in Fort Lauderdale?
6.5 years.
Okay.
We've been meeting every single week for 6.5 years.
Wow. And that's the kind of passion that I think, not only, we talk a lot about this too, because we're local and vocal people, and so we talk a lot about, you really want to make a change in your community itself here. You start on the local level, right?
Exactly right. We figured that out after we lost so bad when Obama was elected the second time around, and we figured out that we just needed to start and get real local. But we realized that you can't just meet once a month and get anything done. So that's why we have met every single week since 2009.
Wow. And so let me ask you this. In regards to last night, in regards to the actual debate, did you watch both debates?
I did not watch the first one, but I heard a little bit of it on the radio.
And it seems like the general consensus on that one, Carly Fiorina probably ran away with that one. But the second debate itself here, a candidate that we haven't talked about yet, when we've been trying to go through a few of the candidates, obviously you have the Donald Trump deal, et cetera, but I found the fact that, first of all, Ted Cruz, is somebody that is going to bring it, and he's obviously somebody who is a debate champion. He knows how to convey, right, ideas that maybe a lot of people, I'm not really sure what he's going to do. To me, he seemed more of a guy who was willing to very directly tell you, I'm probably the guy that you're going to have no problem with believing what I am saying. The way he was delivering. Did you kind of get that as well?
Well, I've believed that for a long, long time, yes. The man is not going to make mistakes and so on because everything he says he believes. It's inside. That everything he says is inside. He doesn't have to fumble for an answer or an excuse because it's all there.
And there's another thing that Ted always says when he's out on the road, for the last couple of years. 2 things he says: tell the truth and do what you said you were going to do while you were campaigning. Real simple. He just keeps it that simple.
Yeah, and the other thing that I thought was a really poignant moment is that at the end of the debate, he got his little girl ran up into his arms there, and it sounded like half the stadium itself just went, on that. I mean, he's got, obviously very, very conservative, and he's made enemies on both sides, right? Really? When it comes to the Republicans and the Dems, yeah. But here's the thing. I agree with you. He is absolutely a 100% believer in what he's saying, principle-wise, right? And so, what did you think about his performance last night?
I loved it, but honestly, I thought he could have been a little more dynamic. But I think he's laying back. I think it's all part of his plan. He's just laying back. There was a time when he could have nailed Rubio, and he didn't. He blamed Schumer. He said Schumer's Gang of 8, and that was clearly Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio was the author of that, and Cruz let it slide last night, and I think that was a mistake. He should have nailed Rubio right then.
What do you think of it?
Well, with 10 people in there, hardly any of them, and especially when so much attention was put on Donald Trump, it's difficult for some of the others to get out in there. But I think Ted got enough out, because I even got some things, because I've been talking up Ted for quite a while, where people contacted me this morning, whether it's through emails or text and by some phone calls, and said, hey, I finally heard him. I think you're right. So, because I've been on the bandwagon for a long time. But it's tough right now when they only get a few minutes to speak.
Yeah, I don't think that he was in a position where he's in danger of falling out of that first tier by any means. In fact, who do you think of what you saw last night? Who do you think might be in danger of falling out of that first tier?
Hopefully it's Lindsey Graham.
Well, he was in the first.
Oh, yes, he was. Right.
I think I'm actually polling better. I'm actually polling better than Lindsey Graham, apparently.
He's probably the first to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going to be the first to go.
Yeah, but on the stage last night there, just from a personal side, I'm not a Chris Christie fan whatsoever. And, him, Kasich, same way, he's a big Common Core guy, just like Jeb Bush. But he covers up a lot of that. So I think, those would be the ones I think should fall on the wayside. I know Rand Paul took a beating last night, what they're talking about on different things, but even though I'm not a Rand Paul fan, I think that it's very important to have his voice in there in these debates, because he brings out a lot of things that need to be said that others are not saying.
Right. Now, what was your biggest, and we appreciate your time, by the way, here too tonight. What was one of your biggest surprises for both of you watching those debates? I mean, did someone surprise you? Not necessarily like with Ted Cruz was saying he's not as dynamic as you thought, but did somebody say, "Wow, I either really dislike that person even more now," or was it somebody that said, "Oh, this might be somebody I might actually think about"?
Well, the surprise came with the first question. My head fell on the table from that first question.
I think a lot of us, that was...
I thought we were going back to the day of Romney, whenever Romney had that opportunity to slam Obama and to win the presidency, and he let it go. So I thought we were kind of reliving that moment. That's not what happened, but that's how it felt for a little while.
And one of the things I did like when asked the question, would you support, everybody on thing there, or not, or whatever, and Donald Trump is the only one that raised his hand, because he cannot, because his the thing he's talking about is the amnesty, and with Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush being big amnesty guys, I just thought it showed a lot of Donald Trump to raise his hand, and I was happy for that.
Yeah, let me ask you this here, and again, we've talked a little bit about this with Bob and Kim, is that how did you feel the moderators did? Because they're really getting slammed today. Yeah. And I think that first of all, I think there was no softball questions at all. I didn't think that there were any questions that looked like they were just little layups, like what's your favorite ice cream flavor, or something like that. They were pretty tough questions. Do you think that do you think the moderators deserve some of this? Or do you think that perhaps they were just doing their job and they actually upped the game of everyone?
Well, as for my opinion, I sort of enjoyed it in one sense, because too many times when we have debates, they're just all softball. Here, they definitely went after certain candidates on their issues. The problem I had was the follow-up questions, because they wanted to just keep following up on Donald Trump, just, putting the boots to him, where they had an opportunity with Jeb Bush on a follow-up question when it came into the Planned Parenthood thing, but they just washed it right away, and they did not drill down on him. So I think there's some kind of
possible agenda there on
it? Without question, I think there is with the establishment, and I think Fox is in on this.
Mm-hmm. And you believe that as well?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are saying this in regards to, that they may have maybe your Jeb, or perhaps Rubio or Walker, etc. I've heard a lot of stuff on the internet today about that again, not lack of follow-up, or really hounding a few folks where it wasn't an equal playing field. Another thing is like Ben Carson. He had about 4 minutes. That was like less time than everybody else. And it was actually pretty obvious if you watch the debate here. So the next debate. Coming up, I believe, September 19th. Okay.
Oh, my God.
What would you like to see from Ted Cruz, besides him being a little bit more dynamic? Do you have anything?
I would like to see his passion come out a little bit more. Just, just a little bit more effort in that way, because he has it. And I think if he does that, I think that he's going to be just fine. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
And Jack, what about you?
Well, I think that's just going to eventually come out anyway, because I think it's natural inside of him to get the truth out. And again, as time goes and they start dwindling down the group, which it's still going to be tough to be able to get under 10 after a while, because you really have 17 people out there. So if one or two fall out, they're going to be adding others in there. So it's going to be very difficult for, people to do that. But I think eventually, he's going to spring out, and when he does, I just think he's dynamic.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, listen, we appreciate you coming by very, very much here. And again, if somebody actually wants to kind of get in touch with the Fort Lauderdale Tea Party, do you have a...
Lauderdale?
TeaPartyFortLauderdale.com?
Tea Party Fort Lauderdale. It's Tea Party Fort Lauderdale at,
TeaPartyFortLauderdale.com is our website,
Right.
and as for our email, it's teapartyftl@gmail.com.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you coming by very, very much.